Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Overwatch Weekly. Finally, some stuff has happened this week to talk about, so let's jump into the news for this week, and we're going to start chronologically. We're going to jump back to Thursday of last week, where we got a new dev update from Jeff Kaplan. If you want to see the full dev update, there's a link to it in the description down below, but I'm going to give you a brief rundown of what he talked about. It was a short dev update, but he said that more were coming very, very soon. He also said that Summer Games is coming, quote, much sooner than it usually happens, and will feature weekly challenges to unlock 3 epic skins. He said Hero 31 is coming later than usual, but should be here, quote, soon enough, and will be, quote, worth the wait. He also confirmed that Hero 31 is a male, and they announced that they would be continuing to work on the subtitles feature that was on the PTR, and they have added improved detection for cheating, which will automatically end matches where cheating is detected and will not penalize anyone who is not cheating in the match, regardless of their team. So if they were on the same team as a cheater or on the opposite team, as long as they were not cheating, they will not be penalized. And if they are the one that's cheating, they will be severely penalized. Now, this was on Thursday. And then we jump to yesterday, Tuesday, where we get the most recent patch 1.38.0.2. And this patch has a couple of things. One of the things being the subtitles feature is now moving from the PTR into the live servers. The subtitles has 3 levels: critical, and conversations, and everything. Critical gameplay is stuff like ultimates, and like I need healing, all that kind of stuff. Whereas everything is literally every voice line, every sound bite, whatever that a hero has. It does that, and this feature was, of course, created to improve the gameplay experience for players that are deaf or hard of hearing, and for players who just enjoy reading closed captions. The other new feature, or I guess returning feature, is that Summer Games 2019 is back now. He said very soon, or sooner than expected, last week. And sooner than expected would end up being only a few days later. So, Summer Games 2019 is live. If you want to see my video on all of the unlockable content, you can find that in the description and in the cards. Obviously, there is the new season of Copa Lucio Ball. There is Lucio Ball itself returning. And then there are weekly challenges, as he mentioned. There's 3 of them. For all 3 weeks that the thing will be running. There were also some workshop updates, but nothing too major. If you want to see any of those workshop updates, you can check the patch notes out in the description down below, where I link to them, as I do always. So those are the 2 things that were done to the game itself. I will say there's a very popular kind of theory right now, or it's a very kind of possible thing right now, that we're actually going to be getting a PTR update this Thursday. Maybe that has Hero 31. We don't know for sure yet. I don't want to say, necessarily we're guaranteed right now to be getting Hero 31 tomorrow, but be on the lookout just in case. But talk more about some news. We have Overwatch League Stage 3 playoffs concluded last weekend, or this past weekend, and the playoffs are crazy. The number 8 seed Shanghai Dragons, round 1 beat the number 1 seeded New York Excelsior. Round 2 beat the number 2 seeded Vancouver Titans, and in the finals overcame the number 4 seeded San Francisco Shock in a 4-3 series. Stopped San Francisco Shock's reverse sweep. It was an incredible series. It was an amazing series. But the Shanghai Dragons, who won 0 matches in the inaugural season, won the Stage 3 playoffs, which is crazy. It's awesome to see a team that has really tried to work so hard to get to this point. Yes, it's a very different team from last season, but it's about the fans. You have fans who stuck with this team when this team was awful, when this team didn't win a single match for an entire season, and now those fans get to see that team as the best team in the league. Even if it's only for a weekend, they were the best team in the league for a weekend, and they deserve every praise that they get. They were incredible. They were really fun to watch. I'll have a link in the description to an article from the Overwatch League website that you can read, kind of just about the Stage 3 finals in general. But it was a really, really, really good finals. It was really exciting. It was really fun. And if you missed it, of course, there's always highlights. I'll link to those in the description down below as well. Next is something that we have, a little interesting thing, is that tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, there will be a special watch point for Stage 4 of the Overwatch League. Now, it is not confirmed what they will talk about, though it is heavily rumored that there will be talks about potentially the 222 lock that is rumored to be coming to the Overwatch League. And potentially they're going to be talking about, I'd say more than potential, I'd say very likely they will be talking about what we saw, or what we'll be seeing going forward with the Stage 4 end of stage playoffs that aren't actual stage playoffs. They're a play-in playoff where the 7 through 12 team in the overall standings play for a playoff spot. We will be seeing that potentially be something to discuss, but that's coming up. So if you have not been tuning in or you don't know what's going on, and you're a little curious as to what may be going on in Stage 4, you should check that out. And they said you don't want to miss it. So that's that. Final story is once again an Overwatch League story. This one has to do with the 2020 season, though. And this is an article that was posted titled Homecoming, What's New in 2020? I don't know why I am going insane and struggling so hard to read today, but I am. Anyway, let's take a look here at this article, Homecoming, What's New in 2020, because there's a lot of really, really, really interesting stuff here that I think people will be interested in. So let's start with the opening here, where they say, with the final stage of the 2019 Overwatch League season on the horizon, we're drawing ever closer to 2020. Next year will be the season of homecomings, with matches breaking away from Los Angeles and playing out at home venues across the globe. When we launched the league, we divided the teams into Atlantic and Pacific divisions to prepare for this evolution. In 2020, we are bringing the Overwatch League to the hometown fans and showcasing our amazing players around the globe. But we need to be mindful of the challenges of team travel. To that end, the Pacific and Atlantic divisions will become the Pacific and Atlantic conferences and further be split into 4 divisions: Atlantic North, Atlantic South, Pacific East, and Pacific West. So, how do these divisions break down? In the Atlantic Conference, you have the North Division, which consists of the Boston Uprising, the London Spitfire, the New York Excelsior, the Paris Eternal, and the Toronto Defiant, and the South Division, which consists of the Atlanta Reign, Florida Mayhem, Houston Outlaws, Philadelphia Fusion, and Washington Justice. Kind of stinks to not have the Fusion in the same division as the Excelsior and the Spitfire, but obviously, when you break it down, they would end up being one of the southernmost teams, so it's unfortunate, but it'll be nice at least to see New York and London in the same stage. I think that'll be or same division. That'll be fun to see. The South Division is going to be interesting. Right now, you have if you took the teams right now, Florida and Washington are the 2 worst teams in the league, so the South Division, you have Atlanta and Houston and Philadelphia, who really any of them could just kind of guarantee themselves a playoff spot, assuming that's the way it'll work, where if you win your division, you get an automatic playoff lock, and then the other spots are, divvied out another way. We don't know for sure yet, but we'll probably learn more eventually. Moving on to the Pacific Conference, we have the East Division, which consists of the Chengdu Hunters, Guangzhou Charge, Hangzhou Spark, Shanghai Dragons, and Seoul Dynasty. It's a pretty solid division. Some of those top middle of the pack teams, or like bottom top of the pack teams, so it'll be interesting to see that division play out. Then you have the West Division, which, oh boy, the Dallas Fuel, the Los Angeles Valiant, the Los Angeles Gladiators, the San Francisco Shock, and the Vancouver Titans. That division is by far the best division in the league. It's absolutely insane, and I feel so bad for the Dallas Fuel, because right now they're by far the weakest team in that division, but that's for next season. Things will change, and we'll see what happens. But those are your divisions. And here is the next thing, which is scheduling. Since 2017, Blizzard Arena Los Angeles has been the epicenter of our story. Next year, our global league is going home. Actually, to many homes, with 52 homestand weekend events hosted at venues across the world. Each team will host 2 homestands. On top of those, teams in each division will also collectively host 3 additional regular season events in their home territories. The 2020 season will begin in February next year and conclude in August. Teams will play 28 matches over the course of the regular season, facing in-conference opponents twice each and out-of-conference opponents once each, which is the same as it is currently for this season. And all regular season matches will be played on weekends with times optimized for local markets. That's a little bit different, where right now matches are also played on Thursdays and Fridays. Here they say just weekends. Maybe that is just Thursdays. Maybe that still includes Thursdays and Fridays. Maybe it doesn't. We don't know yet. The full 2020 schedule will be released next month, so I will talk about that when it comes out, with tickets going on sale shortly after so you can plan your adventures with your friends. Next is the playoffs tournament, the final part on this page. Due to travel and scheduling requirements, the 2020 season will no longer be split into stages, but we will have an awesome mid-season All-Stars event. This means we will have Overwatch League matches every week of the season, but don't worry, teams will still have time to rest in their designated bye weeks, which will differ from team to team. At the conclusion of our season, we will bring the best teams together for an epic tournament to crown a champion at our grand finals. We can't wait to share more details about 2020 soon, beginning with the release of the schedule in August. Stay up to date on Twitter at Overwatch League and sign up for their newsletter. So what interests me the most here is the stage thing. If you don't have any stages, my question is, how do they break up the meta? Is it just one of the things where, like, when a new update or a new patch comes out to the server, like the next week after that, so say a patch comes out on a Tuesday, so not the weekend right after, but the weekend following, right? So you have a patch comes out, you have a week, a set of matches, and then you have the next set of matches where they play on the new patch. I don't know if that's how they'll do it, and they'll just kind of do the meta will just keep changing with each week pretty much. And as updates come out, they just update the meta then and they play on the most recent patch. I don't really know how it's going to work. They would probably know and they'd be informed ahead of time, like, hey, here's when this patch is rolling out. So if it does have to be something like we will always play on the most recent patch, they know beforehand. But it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how things go when there's no stages. It'll be interesting to see how the different homestands work. I actually like the idea of homestands rather than playing every single match like every day from different places around the world. I like the idea of saying, here's a team and they host 8 teams like we have with the homestand weekends we've had in this current season. So Dallas Fuel had 8 teams there, including the Dallas Fuel. The Atlanta Reign had 8 teams there, including the Atlanta Reign. So you have a group of teams that'll be playing in one place. I like the idea of that better because it means you have like tons of fans rooting for different teams. And I think the Overwatch League experience at this point has always been like day-to-day thing where you can go to a game and you go to a day of the Overwatch League and you're seeing 4 games or 3 games, however many games it is. But you're not just going and seeing one game and leaving. You're going and you're getting to watch as many matches as there are for that day, and you can have a good time doing that. I think that is the better way to do it. And I like the fact that they're doing home stands rather than just, we're going to play a bunch of games in the same day in different places around the world. Because now it's easier for casters to be able to do it. You don't have to kind of expand your team into a crazy massive size. Esports have always been somewhat centralized where it's teams playing in the same places. And teams have announced already like different numbers of homestands. I think Philadelphia is getting 3 homestands. New York is getting 2. I haven't seen a bunch of other ones. Those are just a couple that I've seen. So it's interesting to see. I'm intrigued a lot by what some of these teams do. And of course, I'm excited to see the schedule. I'm very, very happy with what we've gotten so far. I wasn't fully expecting to be this happy with the way that it was going to be next season. I was a little worried about it, to be quite honest with you, but my worry is gone. I have no worries anymore, and I'm very excited for this. But that is everything I have for you today. If you guys enjoyed, consider liking and subscribing. Let me know what you think about Summer Games 2019. Let me know what you think about the Season 3 format for homestands and whatnot, because I think it's all very exciting. But with that, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you once again for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.